What's up, YouTube? You know Uncle Mike is looking for this TD Jakes stuff. TD Jakes get caught while running away from country after Diddy mentioned his name in freakoff. What? Yeah. Y'all know the Lil Rod case is coming up, man, and Lil Rod mentioned TD Jakes, mentioned Diddy talking about TD Jakes in his case, and they about to go to the with thingamajig and holler at that thing one time. So y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. Hey, let's check this bad boy out, man. Oh, hold up. My bad, I'm slipping. Uncle Mike been slipping in the Philippines. Still in the Philippines, y'all. Give him a thumbs up before we react to it. Let's check this bad boy out.
Like you a man of God, TD Jakes.
You a man of God.
Have you ever been swallowed? I'm like, yes, I've been swallowed. Have you? Yes, I swallowed you, Medea.
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming and you...
Why would a religious man like himself be at a party, which ain't nothing but sin that's going on, bruh? Whether it's drinking, maybe fornicating, maybe...
There's also an alleged email out saying a plethora of other things that include TD Jakes with Diddy.
I mean...
I never heard that one. I never heard that one. We got said 3 times, Dr. Umar style. I never heard that one. I didn't know you were supposed to pause before you say the last one on the Dr. Umar style. See, I don't have the style down pat. Uncle Mike ain't got Umar style down pat. But we're gonna get it down pat because I'm going to go up to the schools myself. I'm driving up there when I get back.
Email out saying a plethora of other things that include TD Jakes with Diddy.
I mean, if Bishop Jakes was at a Diddy party, there could only be 2 reasons.
Hey, Bishop Jakes, how are you?
What's up, man?
Man, it's so good to see you.
It's better to see you. How you doing?
Well, he says, I'm the first person to pay Taraji P. Henson the most money she's ever made. And then we said, but did you pay her fairly? And then he said, I paid her more than she's ever made. What does that mean, brother? Remember when I said earlier, I've never seen so many cowards and black men in this business? I would have to put my brother Tyler Perry in that. See, when I see you do a clip and you go to TD Jakes' church, and I watch you write a check for $1 million in front of the congregation, and you give it to this man, was that for the congregation to give more money? Or was that really genuine? See, when no one's watching, who are you? To when everyone's watching. And we got a chance to see when no one was watching.
Period. All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
He would be found at any kind of Diddy party or any kind of place with Diddy unless it's in a business atmosphere. So I'm looking at him as a saint going to a party that ain't nothing but sin. Drinking, maybe fornication, man on man, woman on woman, he on she. But maybe he'd have to lay some hands on somebody.
You already know how the internet rolls. It would be like throwing raw meat into a shark tank if there was any hint of dispute. And when it comes to Diddy Dude, there's more than just flesh. Recently, the man's name has been making headlines all the time. It seems like a new dimension of insanity is revealed every week. However, just as everyone believed that the turmoil had peaked, another bomb goes off. And this one has serious murmurs behind the pulpit, famous pastors, and church robes. The megapastor and cultural titan Bishop TD Jakes abruptly announces his resignation as head of the Potter's House. That in and of itself would have made headlines. And he isn't your average pastor from a tiny town. We are discussing a guy who established an empire. The face of contemporary black spirituality is TD Jakes. The man's brand extends far beyond the church, with sermons that go viral, best-selling books, movies, and even sermons that are shown on Revolt. He has shared rooms with monarchs, celebrities, and presidents. That being said, people will begin to make connections when a person of that size abruptly quits. Unbelievably, comedian Nique appeared like a spark on parched leaves. The shiny little tale of new business endeavors or health issues doesn't appeal to her. Not at all. She claims that this was a forced departure rather than a tranquil retirement. And why? Sean Diddy Combs is the same individual making headlines at the moment. Nique isn't exactly renowned for having tight lips. She is making some very serious accusations, and she has enough experience in this system to know what goes on behind the scenes. Her hypothesis? Diddy was more than simply a passing acquaintance of Bishop Jakes. He was surrounded by his entourage. Too profound, too near.
When T.D. Jakes began to talk about sucking on a pulpit, that blew my mind. So no, I was not blackballed. I was whiteballed. By some black who had no balls. Thank you, Mr. Lee Daniels. Thank you, Mr. Tyler Perry. Thank you, Miss Oprah Winfrey. You are not paying me equally. You are not treating me fairly. So y'all can suck my if I had one. I was whiteballed. By some black, you, Mr. Lee Daniels. Remember when I said earlier, I've never seen so many cowards and black men in this business? I would have to put my brother Tyler Perry in that. What people are beginning to do is see you for who you are.
So close, in fact, that when Diddy's legal disputes became explosive, the Potter's House executives reportedly began to perspire. According to the rumors, they pushed Jakes out before things became worse. In other words, it was a tidy departure before the stained glass began to leak with soiled clothes. This is when things get heated. Nique claims to have receipts and other concrete proof, so she's not simply talking smoke. Real data, audios, images, and perhaps even pictures were heard, not by my cousin's barbershop acquaintance. Such things are not amenable to ridicule in a press release. And this goes far further than anybody anticipated, assuming what she's implying is true. Let's take a moment to go back. Due to the mounting litigation and the coming forth of former insiders, Diddy has been in a downward spiral recently. The greatest surprise was when Diddy's former producer, Lil Rod Jones, filed a lengthy 98-page complaint in federal court. Jones mentioned a number of well-known persons in the lawsuit, in addition to accusing Diddy of being unfriendly. Although Jakes was not a defendant, his name was mentioned.
And that case is coming back up, y'all. I'm letting y'all know they got dates and everything where they can really bring it to trial or whatever. I don't know what the first stage is. I don't know what you call that. But it's coming. How about that? I know that much.
Streets were humming from that alone. The complaint claims that Diddy rushed to repair the damage after Cassie Ventura struck him with her own legal haymaker. And to whom did he supposedly seek some image enhancement? Bishop Jakes. The culturally influential and spiritually credible guy, according to Jones, Diddy sought to utilize Jakes as a shield, someone who might lessen the impact in public. It was the link that ignited the flames. Because you're in the spotlight. As soon as your name appears in a federal case, even if it's just once or indirectly. However, it doesn't end there. Old footage reappeared about the time when all of this legal turmoil was exploding. Among the noisiest? A video of T.D. Jakes taking center stage during Diddy's extravagant 53rd birthday celebration in Los Angeles. Celebrities often attend other celebrity events, but this wasn't your typical handshake and bounce. The throng, the mixing, the lighting, and the smiles made people view that footage as if it were the Zapruder movie.
And I'm gonna lay my hands on you, Bishop. And he said, and then the is on the that. He's doing all of this, right? And then there's a woman on the dais.
All celebrities, all wrapped in luxury. But Jake's appearance wasn't the only problem. Those gatherings are notorious for it.
Y'all not watching. Y'all not really watching. Look at the pews. Look how empty the church is. Watch this.
Woman on the dais.
All celebrities,
look at
all wrapped in luxury. But Jake's appearance.
Look way back there with his his face is on the big screen, right? That whole section is gone. This is TD Jakes' church, y'all. Look how empty the pews are, all the way in the back. You gotta look. You gotta all the way in the back, dog. It's y'all not looking at the right stuff, man. His church is getting weaker and weaker, baby. Trust me when I tell you.
He's doing all of this, right? And then there's a woman on the dais.
All celebrities, all wrapped in luxury. But Jake's appearance wasn't the only problem. Those gatherings are notorious for it. You see, Diddy's gatherings are known for something other than Sunday school. They have allegedly engaged in a lot of vices, crazy conduct, and let's just say certain things that are inconsistent with Christian principles throughout the years. People thus begin to raise awkward questions when a well-known bishop is shown on video seeming at ease in such setting. Jake's team now had to move quickly. TD Jakes Entertainment's EVP, Derek Williams, stepped in to contain the damage. He claims that Jakes was just in Los Angeles on business and that the party stop was only a polite visit. Say happy birthday, record a little video, and then bounce. That's the tale. However, not everyone is on board. Because let's face it, why attend one of the year's most closely watched events if you're trying to avoid controversy? Then Jakes suddenly delivers his major revelation. He is resigning. No incident or controversy, simply a smooth departure. What has everyone sneering, however, is the timing. Just before Diddy's trial begins, just after people begin searching through old videos and social media postings, and just before his name begins to appear in online debates. Is it a coincidence? Many people are not persuaded. We're in it now. TD Jakes resigns, Diddy's trial draws nearer, Monique is ranting and vowing to reveal everything. Additionally, the streets are connecting dots more quickly than Sunday brunch chatter amongst church women. It's more than simply a pastor resigning at this point. It has to do with what he may be fleeing. The truth is that the tea is becoming hotter by the hour, and murmurs are evolving into full-fledged discussions. This is about preserving a legacy, not just a ministry, according to Monique, who, incidentally, doesn't seem to be afraid of anybody. She is certain that Jakes did not depart on his own will. She is depicting a guy who decided to leave the stage before a PR bomb exploded, since he saw it coming. And what's causing the panic? Diddy is allegedly sitting on a digital dirt vault that has the potential to wreck ships. And some of those photos may include Jakes. Screenshots, audio snippets, and perhaps even videos from the notorious parties that have been the subject of rumors are what we're talking about. According to Monique, Diddy preserved everything for leverage, as well as memories. And he could start using that advantage now that he's in a legal quagmire and people are abandoning him. This is when the panic starts. Because Diddy isn't simply keeping humiliating video if what she alleges is accurate. He is in control of people thanks to his immaculate reputation, large fan bases, and well-known brands.
Jakes was at a Diddy party. There could only be two reasons. Money or sex. That's all that happens at Diddy.
The Lord said that Bishop TD Jakes will have one of the biggest scandals of all time in the Christian church.
I'm serious. That's not my type of pastor. You know, you got to look at a person's household, and if your household is not in order, you understand, how you gonna help somebody else get their house in order?
Bishop TD Jakes, for example, spent decades developing a strong, wholesome father figure persona. The last thing someone like that wants is to appear side by side in headlines that include terms like lawsuit, freakoff, or federal investigation. That's not all, however.
In a 79-page lawsuit filed by a music producer who claims to have worked with and lived with Sean Combs for a period of time, alleges there were underage girls, hidden cameras, and sexual harassment at his home.
Ruin my day. And you know what that means? You going up against somebody who got nothing to lose and everything to gain.
I told you can't trust me. Now Puffy done killed Tupac, man.
Puffy doing, Puffy's a sucker, man.
Oh my God. Oh my God. 50 Cent trolling, man. He was just trolling. That's a joke, y'all, but he You know, 50 Cent out there doing his thing, man. Here you go.
I told you you can't trust me. Now Puffy done killed Tupac, man.
Puffy's a sucker, man. Puff said he's gonna walk up on 50 Cent and punch him in the face.
Yeah, he said, I'm just gonna punch him in the face.
We started off this morning with Capricorn Clark. She's a former Diddy assistant, former marketing manager for Sean John.
That's my buddy.
She talked about 50 Cent. So I don't know what year this was, but she said that Diddy was doing a press event with 50 Cent at MTV, and they actually shared the same manager at this point, and his name was Chris Lighty. And she said that Chris Lighty and herself and Diddy got into an elevator, and Diddy was having a problem with 50 Cent, and he said something like, you know, I don't like the back and forth, I like guns.
Diddy's former bodyguard Gene Deal has entered the fray, and people pay attention to what he has to say. There was no backstory of this individual. He was neither a third cousin twice removed nor a distant assistant. He worked security at the gatherings, keeping an eye on who entered, who remained, and what they did. He is now claiming that TD Jakes was actively involved in Diddy's events, rather than only attending them. It's on a whole new level. Shaking hands, posing for a little film, and then dipping out is one thing. Being involved in what was happening behind those velvet ropes is a very other matter.
The Lord said that Bishop TD Jakes will have one of the biggest scandals of all time in the Christian church. One of the biggest shaming falls before God finally judges him.
World-renowned Dallas pastor T.D. Jakes is named in a federal lawsuit against musician Sean Diddy Combs.
It's filed by a producer that worked with Combs. It discusses how the singer planned to leverage his relationship with the bishop.
With Diddy, he was using T.D. Jakes to fix his image. You believe that?
Well, we saw that to be true anyway. That's what he was trying to do all that time.
I don't want to say what we talked about, but there, but for the grace of God, go any of us.
And I'm so happy to be here tonight to just celebrate you. I couldn't just send a videotape. I had to be here.
I didn't even know that he was trying to build this youth center. I didn't even know it, but I know how important the youth are. So we were sitting in the service, and I leaned up toward him, and I said, I've just been touched to give $1 million.
And I'm gonna lay my hands on you, Bishop. And he said, and then the is on the internet. He's doing all of this, right? And then there's a woman on the dais.
And you been to these parties, right?
Oh yeah, I was there when he was doing the white parties in the Hamptons and the whole 9 yards. So I know what goes on at the parties. If, you know, they probably got a little bit more freakier, you know, as time went on, you know, because they got to the point where it's that they didn't even care. It used to be secretly, you know, where people used to go to, you know, separate rooms and different rooms, and they wasn't doing that out in the public, you know. So, but now they don't care. Men kissing men and all this other stuff. It's crazy.
Gene isn't speaking from a distance, thus his comments are powerful. He claims to have personally seen it. Additionally, individuals stop scrolling and begin to pay attention when someone from the inside begins pointing fingers. And when all of this happened? Crazy! Jakes goes to sleep in silence. Diddy is under a lot of legal pressure a week later. It's humming on the internet. Videos from the past come up. Then, without warning, the story shifts. All of a sudden, it is no longer about spiritual rest or progress. It concerns what is not said. Even Jake's own reaction fueled the flames. He leaned into a speech on repentance rather than a scathing denial. He said, even if it was true, the blood of Christ would cover it. He continued by saying, but I ain't got to repent about this. This, let's face it, left many folks perplexed. Why bring up forgiveness if it never happened? It seemed like a strange kind of half-hearted confession. And
that's what made me, right there, those are the little things like that he's saying and doing is what made me say, he's guilty. Something is wrong with this guy. He is not who he say he is. His son getting in trouble. There are other men that had church dealings with him that are admitting that they are and saying that they got cases out on him. I'm 59. Why ain't no cases out on Uncle Mike? Because he don't do nothing wrong.
As if someone were pleading for forgiveness without acknowledging culpability. More powerful than most lectures is that stillness, that particular pause when you expect someone to declare, "I didn't do it," but instead they dance around the edges. Not alone were people uneasy, they had a really skeptical attitude. It was like a guy bracing himself for the worst while praying the storm would blow past his door.
So allegedly, Cassie has turned over evidence to the feds. Yes, to the Fed. She has turned over videotapes, a USB drive, and Kim Porter's burner phone.
And whether it's the money, the promise.
How you feel about these rumors surrounding, Diddy and TD Jakes?
Man, what I think about it is this, when I grew up in the church, the sinners was not supposed to have the same atmosphere with the saints. You have to be able to separate the two. So I'm looking at him as a saint going to a party that ain't nothing but sin. Drinking, maybe fornication, man on man, woman on woman, he on she.
I would have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up?
That dude was possessed with some kind of demon, man. He's possessed with some kind of demon. Wanna be in all this red, this dark rooms with the music blasting. It had to be a certain temperature. A certain type of music for the vibration they were saying. Maybe that'll say, yeah, I was there when he was doing the white parties in the Hamptons and the whole 9 yards. So I know what goes on at the parties. If, they probably got a little bit more freakier, as time went on, because they got to the point whereas that they didn't even care.
Thus, the topic of discussion has changed. Jakes attended the party, but is that all? Was he involved in the events that took place at those gatherings? Did he have a true understanding of what was happening? Because stepping down was his only option if he did, and if Gene Deal and Monique are both correct. Let's also discuss how the general public perceives this. D. Jakes is more than simply a pastor. He is a movement, a company, and a brand. Books, seminars, movie offers, clothing, and more are all available. Money is the meaning of his name, and any flaw in that picture might cause the whole kingdom to fall. His group is aware of it, he is aware of it. Because of this, the message has to be clear: no overt references to Diddy, no clumsy interviews, simply a graceful farewell while the fire is still going out. However, the fire is rapidly expanding. These days, people are searching through everything like digital detectives, including old Instagram postings, Diddy's event guest lists, and previous interviews, because people on the internet will sniff until they identify the source of an unpleasant odor.
They have found Sean Combs not guilty of leading a criminal enterprise, not guilty of racketeering conspiracy. They will now move to the other 4 counts, 2 of them on and on and we have not guilty now on count 2, which was trafficking of Cassandra Ventura. Sean Combs has been found not guilty of trafficking when it comes to his former girlfriend Cassie Ventura.
Gay in Hollywood, you never expected. They be having these big ass mansion parties, and the mansion party, the whole mansion is a party, and then it's a separate party in the little rooms. I ain't been famous that goddamn long. I'm excited in a month at the mansion party. You be looking in all the goddamn rooms, and you around and look in the wrong room. Come here. Is that kissing? Is one of the Professor Ovi?
I've heard anybody else say until the federal government came in. because nobody knew, Mighty, nobody knew before the federal government came in and hit Puff with those charges that any of this would have ever happened. You could not tell me, nobody could predict that this dude would be sitting on trial for his life.
And that clamor will only intensify as Diddy's court appearance draws nearer. Diddy isn't the only subject of the trial anymore. It concerns everyone in his vicinity. It has a cascading impact on anybody who attended parties, remained quiet, or whose name may appear on one of those purported files. When one collapses, the others begin to topple over. TD Jakes' abrupt departure is thus not being accepted at face value, nor by his detractors, nor even by his devoted followers. Thus, it doesn't seem like a happy conclusion. Before the water reaches the structure, it seems as if someone is stealthily leaving via the rear entrance. Thus, we find ourselves in the center of a storm that is becoming stronger every day. A well-respected pastor's modest retirement announcement has suddenly grown into something much more. Something that makes even the most devoted followers look sideways. Timelines flooded, and church pews humming. Because, let's face it, TD Jakes resigns the week before Diddy's trial begins? Not alone is the timing questionable, it almost seems like a movie. Let's now examine the true causes of this fire.
The judge ruled detention is mandatory with a Mann Act conviction, and there was no, there was limited exceptions there. Why exactly is he not out on bail, I guess, in layman's terms?
Under the statute in federal court, when you're convicted of certain types of offenses, detention is automatic. The defendant in this particular case was already detained, so it's a heavy burden for their defense to show that, well, judge, he should be released despite the statute because these are the extraordinary and compelling circumstances that should allow his release and show that he's not a danger to the community, he's not a flight risk, and he'll abide by all the terms and conditions of release. The judge apparently didn't think that the defense has met that burden, which is, as I said, a pretty high burden.
How big of a loss is this for the government? I mean, you're talking about major charges, racketeering, conspiracy. You have prosecuted these at this level, Joel. How big of a loss for them to put this case up and then for them to lose on the three most serious charges?
I don't like to say loss, wins and losses, because it's the system. The jury system spoke. I will say there's disappointments, and I'm sure the prosecution in this particular case is disappointed. They had a lot of witnesses. They had to deal with a lot of victims that said this happened, but it went to the jury, and the jury is a system, and that's what we have to have faith in, and they spoke, and that's the decision that is there. So I'm sure the prosecution's disappointed in it. Sure. But he's still convicted of 2 felonies.
We heard last night there were some jury members with unpersuadable views on this case. We know last night that racketeering, they were, that was not decided last night. What happened in the 1 hour this morning when they all got together and deliberated? Because it only took an hour.
I wish I knew. If I did, I'd be hired as a jury consultant. But that's a difficult time. I mean, from the prosecution and the defense, you don't know what's happening because we don't have access to what's happening in the jury room. And you have 12 different people from all different parts of, cross-section community debating about how they see the evidence and view it. And they came back and told the court that, well, we can't reach an agreement. And then at that point in time, the court could have given what's called an Allen charge. My understanding, they gave a partial Allen charge. And the Allen charge is kind of dreaded by some people, especially defense, because some people view that it forces the jury to make a decision. But it's not really the case. It's been tried and tested in the appellate courts, and the court goes through and reads it specifically and says, listen, jury, you're in the best position to decide this case. You've heard it for this many days or weeks or months. No one else is going to do a better job than you are right here. So I'm instructing you to go back and take a look at your viewpoints, take a look at, discuss it amongst the other jurors, apply the law that I give you and see what happens. It's my understanding in this case they give a partial Allen charge and the jury went back and listened to the judge and came back.
Diddy's legal troubles go beyond the usual issue involving celebrities. Anyone who is even somewhat connected to him might be drawn in by the many allegations, legal actions, and even federal charges that are being discussed. The names are flying. The lawsuits are piling up. The fact that it's not just about what they did is what makes Diddy's group so frightening. It has to do with Diddy's possession of them. When Monique said that Diddy had receipts, she wasn't joking. She is making it apparent that he could just explode a vault full of digital blackmail, including voice notes, emails, screenshots, and hidden camera recordings, if he feels trapped or deceived. It's not simply a terrible appearance either. That's something that can ruin a ministry, an empire, or a career. What about the individuals who may be in such files? They are aware of it. The streets claim that some of them are becoming ghosts as a result. The resignation of TD Jakes might be the beginning. There are serious rumors that he is not only about to retire, but is also getting ready to leave the nation. People claim that he has already taken action, including canceling events that he would often headline without hesitation, holding private flights, and holding secret meetings. Some even claim that he has a crew that works non-stop to remove certain connections from the internet. He is a vanishing act one day and the face of a megachurch the next. Everything is happening too quickly to be typical. Which takes us full circle to Gene Deal. People stopped when he said that Jakes was not only present at the party, but was actively taking part in it. That isn't rumors. That's a direct statement from someone whose responsibility it was to physically monitor the room. That changes the story. Being at the wrong place at the wrong time is no longer an issue. The question is whether Jakes was indeed leading two lives, one hedonistic and one pious. A guy who spends Saturday night partying with sinners and Sunday preaching about sin. There is extreme cognitive dissonance, because it begs the difficult issue of how much of what we saw was true if TD Jakes, a guy renowned for his lectures on integrity, discipline, and faith, was really out here mingling at gatherings that were known for their anything goes vibe. To what extent was that polished image branding rather than belief? It gets considerably messier from here. The Christian Post received a polite, businesslike, and circumspect answer from Jakes' staff. They said that he was in Los Angeles for meetings and that it was a one-time visit. However, it only appeased those who were already wanting to believe him. It was like a veil to everyone else. Because why that one party, even if there was just one? Why, of all people, Diddy, why go to a notoriously chaotic birthday party when your ministry is founded on principles that are in stark opposition to that way of life? A lion's lair is not something you enter by chance. Either you don't care, or you don't know what's inside. And in this instance, nobody is buying ignorance. Not from a guy with TD Jakes' level of media acumen and cunning. Not to mention that the internet never forgets. It was game over the instant the recordings reappeared, including Jakes grinning at Diddy's party, snippets of his lectures about atonement, and that embarrassing church address in which he said, "The blood covers all sin." The consistencies were too obvious. The public seemed to be seeing the mask come off in real time. The anticipation is cruel now. Diddy is no longer the exclusive focus of the trial. It concerns all those who stood by his side. People are waiting, as well. With phones in hand and vids saved, we're prepared to see whether anybody else will be identified. Because this isn't simply a controversy involving celebrities, it's a reckoning. We're going to see a cascade of events unlike anything we've seen in a long time if Monique is correct. Gene Deal is speaking the truth and those files are authentic. And Jakes is in the explosion zone, dude. He is aware that the heat is too near, regardless of whether he is guilty of anything or just guilty by association. He is most likely removing himself from the limelight for that reason. Not to take a break or write another book, but to blend in with the background before the altar is engulfed in flames. And to be honest, that's the main topic of conversation. Not the video of the party, not the name drop in the case, not even the gossip. It's the quiet. That calculated, practiced, attorney-approved quiet. The type of quiet that attempts to exist without denying or confessing. We will now wait for the day of the court. Regarding the leaks, for the invoices. And when this thing eventually blows out, we'll see who has been hiding behind a mask and who has been having sex with the devil right in front of us. Still present, still observing, continuously pondering.
What a way to stop the daggone video. They think they slick. When they cut the video like that with no ending, people don't know it's end, so they made it to the 100% all the way through the video. Once the video's over with and I start talking, people don't want to hear what I'm saying, so everybody clicking away. So that's why I always say shout out to my enders. Look here, I'm gonna get on up out of here. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out. Diddy ain't off the hook yet, y'all. I'm letting y'all know that Diddy is not nowhere near off the hook. Peace out.